Every day, pharmaceutical companies spend billions developing drugs to fight cancer, reverse depression, and slow aging. Meanwhile, your body has been manufacturing those exact same compounds for free since the day you were born. You just never learned how to turn the machine on. For decades, we were told muscle was purely structural, something athletes built to lift heavy things, a cosmetic feature, a performance tool. That belief was wrong, and the science that corrected it was buried in journals that most people will never read. Because if this information went mainstream, it would change the conversation about how we treat depression, cancer, and dementia overnight. So let's talk about what muscle actually is. In 2000, a Danish researcher named Bente Klarlund Pedersen made a discovery that upended exercise physiology. She found that when a skeletal muscle contracts, it doesn't just move, it secretes. These secreted proteins are called myokines, and they function like hormones. They enter the bloodstream and travel to distant organs, switching on processes that no pill has ever been able to replicate this cleanly. One of them, IL-6, interleukin-6, triggers an anti-inflammatory cascade that suppresses tumor growth. Another, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, acts like fertilizer for neurons. In clinical comparisons, a single session of moderate exercise raised BDNF levels more effectively than standard antidepressants. Irisin, another myokine, crosses the blood-brain barrier and reverses early cognitive decline markers in animal models. Human trials are ongoing, and the early data is striking. Your muscle is a gland, the largest endocrine organ in the human body, and every time it contracts, it fills a prescription. This isn't fringe biology. In 2019, the American College of Sports Medicine formally reclassified skeletal muscle as an endocrine organ. The paper cited over 600 studies. Harvard's Department of Genetics has been mapping the secretome of muscle, cataloging every compound released during contraction. They've identified over 300 distinct bioactive molecules so far. And yet, how much did you hear about this in mainstream health coverage? The research was there. The evidence was there. The problem is that contract your muscles more often is very difficult to patent. There is a version of this story where the findings from Pedersen's lab in 2000 become front-page public health news, where oncologists start prescribing structured resistance training alongside chemotherapy, where psychiatrists add movement protocols to depression treatment from day one. Some hospitals are starting to do exactly that, quietly, with small programs in the margins of standard care. But the default system still treats the body as a collection of separate problems, each with its own pharmacological solution. The muscle doesn't generate revenue, so the muscle doesn't generate headlines. So what actually activates the pharmacy? The research points to a few consistent patterns: resistance training, compound movements, squats, deadlifts, rows create the highest myokine output per session. The muscle needs to work near its capacity to trigger the secretion cascade. Light activity produces some response. Heavy, progressive work produces significantly more. Duration and consistency. A single session elevates circulating myokines for hours. But the chronic benefits, the changes in baseline inflammation, neural density, immune vigilance, those accumulate over months. This isn't a quick fix. It's a long game with compounding returns. Muscle mass matters. More contractile tissue means a larger secretory surface. This is why preserving and building muscle becomes progressively more critical as we age. It's not about appearance. It's about biological infrastructure. The prescription is not complicated. The discipline to fill it consistently is where most people close the door. The research is no longer emerging. It's settled. Muscle is an endocrine organ. Contraction is medicine. Inactivity is, quite literally, a form of suppression of the one system your body built specifically to keep you well. You don't need a prescription for this. You just need to show up. If this reframed something for you, share it with someone who still thinks the gym is just for aesthetics. And if you want to go deeper on the specific protocols that maximize myokine output, leave us a comment.